Hi all, yep, the engine's out. So whilst everyone's on a bit of lockdown, I decided to do a bit of work to Felix. So engine's out, it's sat next to me at the moment. This intro has actually been done post a lot of the work anyway. But what I'm going to go through and explain is what I've bought, what I'm doing to the gearbox, what I'm doing to the engine, and most importantly why. To put some meat to the bones on this, I fitted a new electronic boost controller by EAM to Felix, and while setting up, she should be running about 13 psi, but I managed to get it to run about 18 purely by accident. I've found a new lease of life in the car. She pulled like a train, but a lot of the parts I've got on it aren't sustainable for high brake horsepower and high torque. One of them being the gearbox. So the gearbox was built at the beginning of this project by John at Guessworks. It's a standard A+ box. It had a cross-pin diff in it. It went from a 2.76 MPI final drive. It's running a 3.1 now. But after I did a few bits and pieces and I blew the first engine up into version 2, I took the opportunity to put a Quaife ATV in. So that's what's in it at the moment. So to take more power, I've decided to go for the Mini Spares Evolution helical gear set. Now, I know a lot of you are probably screaming, saying, why didn't you go straight cut? I'm not a fan of the straight cut sound at all. I know in fourth gear it's barely audible, and I know the drop gears as well they just whine like a banshee, and that's just not the car I want. I want a daily driver where it's not making a lot of noise. The Mini Spares kit has been proven time and time again to be very, very solid. The issue I face is really with the drop gears. If you do the calculations for the side load, at about 150-160 foot-pound of torque, there's between 5 and 5.5 kilos of side force on it, and that's going into the gearbox side as well. So you do have to take considerations. This could have gone straight cut, could have completely eliminated that one, but again, I'm willing to take the risk and go helical drops. So what else have I bought? I bought an Kent MD 266 cam. That's been recommended by quite a few people. I would have gone for phase 2, but again, mega power, so I've eliminated that one. The MD 266, mid-range power, very, very good for boost. I've got an SW5 75 Swift tune in here at the moment. Not a massive fan of it for boosted applications. It was poo-pooed by quite a few engine builders as to why I was doing it in the first place. You live and learn. That cam's been sold off now, so yeah, we'll crack on with it. Okay, so the gearbox, I've been working on it. I should have done a bit of videoing on it before, but I just wanted to crack on with it. So to give you a rough outline of what's gone on with what I've done up to now. So you can probably see from the first motion shaft, this is fourth gear. Looks a bit wider, so does third and second. The first is still your standard straight cut. So these three are the Mini Spares Evolution kit for people such as Cole from Classic Mini DIY. He's got the same. We've been chatting between each other about potential power levels, etc. So it'll be interesting. His being supercharged, mine being turbocharged. The lay shaft itself, again, slightly different. First is still straight cut, but fourth, third and second ever so slightly wider, a bit more metal actually the lay itself, which fits onto the uprated lay shaft from Mini Spares. This one did have one beforehand in it. John at Guessworks did actually put one in when he rebuilt the box in the first place, but I thought it was such a good time to almost completely refresh the box. I put it in, so we'll go from that one, and I'll show you how to shim this up properly. And then just on the other side, which you probably haven't seen in a normal gearbox, this is the Kent Auto Developments main shaft support. This is a cast unit with a roller bearing in that just supports the end of the main shaft where it goes into the speedo drive. Mine's actually got a sleeve on it, so it's been sleeved. I've been in talks with CAD before and saying, hey, you know what, is this going to be okay? They said I've been exceedingly lucky with this one. It was a bit of a tight fit. It did take a bit of drifting on, but I've put some Loctite in there, some 638 Loctite in it, pushed the bearing home, and it's been there for a day now, so hopefully it dried nicely. When it was in, I also put the DTI on, and there's no run out at all. There's barely a wiggle in the needle, so that's absolutely fine on that one. The main nuts, so that one and the one on the first motion shaft have been done up to 150 foot-pound of torque. So essentially the main shaft's done. The selector at the moment is been undone, so I can put it into fourth, and with a bit of persuasion, it will go in. What just happens on camera? There you go. So it goes into fourth and first. So if it needs to be, you can lock it in, and that's how you do them up. However, you will need the lay shaft in there to lock out fourth and first gear, because that's how it really works in there anyway. Because look, you've got second and third rotating normally. So what we'll do now is we'll get everything set up, and I will show you how to shim out the lay shaft. Okay, so what you've probably seen me doing is playing around with the Haynes manual as well. I suggest if you're going to do anything like this, your first point of call is get yourself a Haynes manual. I'm using the 69 to 84 because it actually has a full breakdown of the early manual, later manual and automatic transmissions. So this is probably your better guide than say your earlier one, such as your 69 to 2001, because there isn't a full breakdown of the manual gearbox. However, it is really good to have both of them, really good practice. So if you can, get yourself both, and you can usually pick them on Amazon or they're floating around eBay secondhand, so get yourself one whilst you can. So essentially what we're doing now is the lay shaft itself, there's a bit of movement, you can probably hear that, there's the bench wobbles as well, it doesn't help. So there is a certain amount of end float. So the end float for the lay gear itself is between 2 thou and 6 thou, or 0.05 mil to 0.15. Because I like to do things in metric and make my life exceedingly difficult, I shall go initially for, this has been pre-measured, so to give you an idea, so I've got 0.1 and 0.15, 0.25 altogether, so fit that in. And there is some movement there. Difficult to go around the other one, but yeah, you've got about 0.25, maybe 2.4. So we can always change it around. So get my 2, my 2.4. There we go. Get them in there. It's a little bit easier. Go straight down to 0.2, see what it does. So 0.2, there is play down there at 0.2. So to bring it into spec, we need about about 0.1 mil to get it into right in the middle. So because I like to cheat, to 0.1. So 7.5 thou is what I need. So, luckily, you've probably seen these. John at Guessworks provides shims, so rather than getting the actual lay shaft shims themselves, keep getting replaced. Mine are very, very low mileage. This box came out at 2,500 miles, so I will be just shimming the back side of this side, and hopefully we should go from there and hopefully work. So I've got 2 3/1000ths and a 5 thousandths. So what I'm going to try initially is to stick in a 5 and a 3, so 8 thou. And we'll go from there, see what happens. Okay, so instantly that feels a lot better, but until we get the shaft in and have a look, we'll never know. So in typical YouTube fashion, the battery just died, so we'll go through it again. So 0.05, so we're going on the low end of 2 thou. We'll go and check. Okay, that slides in really easy there. So I'll go up to 0.1. That is a bit on the tight side. So let's have a look. On the other one, we've got a 0.6. So let's check 0.6. We've got a 0.8 as well. So we'll try both. This is the 0.6. Yeah, that goes in very easily. Let's try the 0.8. That actually goes in quite nicely. It goes quite tight down the side. Just as a double try, we'll go back to the 0.1. Just for sanity's sake. I don't want to cock this up and then put it all back together. I realise I've done the wrong thing. So again, 0.1's probably on the slightly tighter side of this. Good on both ends. I don't know about any of you, but I've always struggled to get a proper reading from the first gear side. I've always found a better one. If you ever see the side of a lathe shaft, you'll probably understand why. Going in there. Yeah. Just go back and just check 0.5. Again, this is more of a sanity check than anything else. As I said, I'd rather get this right first time and put it all together and know that I've done it right. So again, 0.5, we'll go right down the side. You know what? That's got a bit of movement, it's got a bit of play to it, so I'm quite happy with that one. Actually joined by a B. So I'm happy with that. So we're look probably there between about 2 and 3 thou, so I'm super content with that. Cool. So we'll crack on. Okay, you can now watch me struggle through this. So the centre pickup on mine, this is the one that came off the box, was absolutely brand new when John built it originally. There's a bit of swarf floating around on the actual gauze itself. That's been taken off with a bit of degreaser and absolutely blasted with carb cleaner, so it's all nice and clean, it's all nice and dry. There is just a little bit still floating around, but that's all in the end of the day, but I'm comfortably happy that this has been done and cleaned properly. So I shall now struggle to get it in. So a bit of oil on the lathe shaft, just to help it more than anything else. Just wipe it off with the clean cloth first. So hopefully that's picked up all the crap off. Well lubed. And that goes through to the side, like so. Actually, change my mind, I'm going to put a little bit of sealant on the one on the inside, because at least with the one on the outside I can do something about it, but once this box is sealed, it's staying there. Cool. So the next one is, you've probably seen missing, right over the top. So we'll get that in.
And this is a brand new lock nut, so I'm not too bothered about it being a bit of a pain. So that's sitting quite proud at the moment. I don't want to start bending stuff, so what I'll do is I'll get a couple of washers underneath that. Now, next people will be saying in the comments, "Oh, if that gets loose, there's washers in there." To be honest with you, if that gets loose, you've got a lot more worries. So, yes, I take it on board. Do I care? Not a great deal. Bollocks. And if you are working on cars, these are brilliant. However, it doesn't always pick up stainless steel. Luckily, this one does. Okay, so that's pretty much that side done now. So we've got it done. So we'll move on to the next. I'll move the camera and we'll go through how to sort out the pinion side. Okay, so the next part of it is getting the locking plate and the bearing retainer in. So I've pulled it all apart just to demonstrate this one, but a few people online have done this, but I'm just showing you how to kind of go about it. The plate needs to go in like that. I was imagining it going in like the tail of an aeroplane. So that sits on top of the reverse and then slides into the lay shaft. There we go. Right, onto the end plate. So now to the speedo housing. Again, this is the one from Cab. Beautiful piece of casting. It uses the speedo drive, which is the one thing I needed. The MED doesn't. This just looks nice. It looks OEM, and it fits absolutely beautifully. Again, as I said, pinion bearing in the top of it. And what I'll do is I've already fitted the gasket. I have to cut off some of the excess around, but what we'll do, we'll add a bit of black silicone sealant to it, and then we'll torque it up to 25 Newton meters. Put on the studs, and oddly enough, Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt, it goes on straight away. Hopefully, we've now got 25 Newton meters on all of them. There we go, all done. This is the job I really hate doing. So this is the first motion shaft needle roller bearing onto the main shaft. It's tight, it really is tight, and over the years I've broken these trying to get them on. So if I do break it, I've got it on camera and you can all laugh at me. A lot of you are probably screaming at me as well, the fact that I haven't got a retainer on there. I'm not a firm believer of the plates in which you pinch the nut. If that's going to come undone, a tiny piece of steel is not going to hold it back. So that's been thread locked, just as the other main shaft has as well. Both bearings on the main shaft have also been Loctited in, so not going anywhere either. So next bit is the clip. And again, I've broken these in the past, so hopefully we're successful. And it goes on first time. Let me screw it up. There we go. That's that done. Okay, this is the fun part. So I've put a little bit of oil down the selector at the moment just to keep it to going. I haven't put the ball in just yet with the spring. I'll get to that in a bit. So I'm using a Quaife ATB. So I'll rest that. That's where it needs to be for the time being. So this has already been pre-shimmed. I've just been texting John at Guessworks just to make 100% sure I was doing the right thing. It's a sanity check more than anything else. These don't have gaskets, so the later A+ boxes don't have a gasket where the cover goes on. They're matched covers as well, so we'll be putting gasket sealant on those shortly. But essentially the housing goes over the top, and then you put the side covers on. I've seen people try and put the side covers on the bottoms first. Just do it the way in which Rover and BMC did in the first place. I've replaced my mounting bush as well. The old one was a bit knackered. I've also replaced the seal outer, and I've taken the inner seal and just given it a bit of a clean up as well. So we'll go and we'll put some gasket on and we'll get this in. Okay, so the next thing that needs to be done is to check the float on the idler. And the way in which we do that is obviously install the idler gear into the case, and then we install the transfer case housing using a new gasket. So I'll just go get that done. We've got the two, we've got UNC and UNF. UNF goes into the block, UNC goes into the alloy. Again, I'm using metric, but we're looking for a gap between 0.101mm and 0.177. So I'm going to go in straight top of the lot with 0.10. And I'm looking between the shim and the housing. Bang on. So we've got a idler float of 0.12 millimeters, which is well within specs. I'm happy with that. So I can take it all apart now.
Okay guys, thanks for watching. I know it's a bit of a long episode, but hopefully it gives you a good idea of what I've done to the gearbox. The next episode will be engine onto the gearbox, a few bits and pieces with the engine, hopefully the cylinder as well as some of the bits and pieces from the suspension that I've had powder coated. In the meantime, please like, subscribe and comment below. Hopefully we won't start too many arguments, but if you've got any comments or queries, please drop them below and I'll try and answer them. So until next time guys, thanks very much for watching.